Ever feel like your pay hits your account and then meow, it's all gone before you've even had time to enjoy it? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about how to take control of your money flow. I'll walk you through an ideal bank account setup, the power of paying yourself first, and what's really going on when money feels like it's just burning a hole in your pocket. Welcome to the Wealth Whisperer podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host and financial wellness and money coach, Erin.Moran. Let's get into it. Let's start with our general advice warning here. So the information in this podcast is for information and educational purposes only. It is not to be taken as personal advice. I haven't met your beautiful faces yet, so that's not something that I would be able to do for you. All the information is based on general information, and you would need to decide whether or not this advice is right for you. Let's talk about bank account setups. There's a lot of information out there at the moment about how to set up your bank accounts with budgeting. Some people try to manage their entire financial life out of one single account, and that is complete chaos. And then on the flip side of that, you'll have people that will have that many bank accounts. There'll be a bank account for everything. There'll be a bank account labeled fuel, and that's also complete chaos. So when you think about an ideal bank account setup, what we're trying to do here is simplify your finances and have in place a structured system. If you get paid, when you get paid, a couple of bills will come out, you'll tap your card a couple of times, and you're probably not even checking your bank account as you're doing it, and then suddenly there's $53 left in your bank account and you're thinking to yourself, where did all my money go? Does that sound familiar? The problem is not that you are bad with money. It's that your money doesn't have a system. So that's all we need to do is create a system that works for you. When you're working from one single account and when everything's mixed into that one account, it's really hard to tell what is actually available for you to spend. Your savings, your bills, and all your splurge money are all in the same pot. So that's when money starts to feel like it's slipping through your fingers, and it's not intentional, it's just reactive. And again, with setting up too mmany bank accounts, it can get very, very confusing and overwhelming. Having so many accounts, you can't even remember which one. Was that one to put aside for the fuel, and this account was for school fees, and this account and this account. It's too much. It's just complete chaos. So let's break it down. Let's have a look at an ideal bank account setup. This is something that I've been using myself personally for quite some time, and I talk about with clients on a regular basis as well. Let's talk about the first account. It's the income account. So this is where all your pay lands. So all forms of income would go into this account. And it's the gatekeeper. From here, everything is going to be dispersed for your bills and your savings. And what you're going to be left with in this income account is money to spend on things like your groceries and your bills. So basically anything that's not a direct debit would stay in this income account. The next account that you would have is your bills account. So the bills account, just think of it like this is your adulting account. Okay, so this is the account that all the recurring expenses come out of, your rent or your mortgage, the electricity, gas, phone bill, Netflix, all that sort of stuff all gets paid from that bills account. All scheduled transfers and direct debits would all just run on autopilot. And that's why it's important to look at the 12 months history of your bank statements when putting together a budget to make sure that on each payday you have calculated that over the course of the month that you are putting aside enough into that bills account to be able to cover all of the expenses that you are expecting for that month. So that's what that bills account is for, everything that's set up as a regular occurring expense that you are expecting. Okay? Now, then we have your first savings account. So the first savings account that should be there is your emergency fund. It's very, very important to have an emergency fund. It's one of the most powerful ways to empower your budget and protect your budget as well from unforeseen circumstances and events that can happen. I've had it myself personally in my with my emergency savings account. I've had to dip into it for unexpected vet bills when there's been, accidents on the property, and I've had so much peace of mind when going to the vet and they start rattling off all these expenses. The last time I went to the vets with one of the puppies with Summer, a groomer had cut off the end of her tongue. It was really quite horrific, and they were talking about if they would have to put her under to be able to do something with the tongue, like numb the tongue or whatever it was. I can't remember now. But whenever they talk about putting the dog under the anesthesia, whatever it is, they also have to talk about reviving the puppy. So I don't know if you were aware of this. I certainly wasn't aware of this until the circumstances was happening to me. But it costs $150 each time they try to revive the puppy. So they had to check in with me to make sure that I had the money to cover that expense. So I cannot tell you how important it is for your peace of mind when you're going through a difficult situation to know that you've got the money put aside for these events, because that just gave me so much peace of mind. I said, yep, absolutely. I had over $10,000 in my emergency fund at the time. I said, yes, I do have the money to be able to try as many times, make sure she comes back. So that's the first savings account. Then from there, you will have a long-term goal, a medium-term goal, and a short-term goal. Now, your short-term goal are things like Christmas, birthdays, and school fees, probably. If you haven't included them in your bills, if they only come out once a year, you would put in the into your savings account to be able to cover those expenses. If you've already included all your expenses in the bills account anyway, then just save for things like your Christmas and your birthdays. Basically, any short-term savings goal is less than 12 months. So if you're looking to achieve it in less than 12 months, it's your short-term goal. Your medium-term savings goal would be things like going on holidays overseas, taking the kids on holidays. It can be things like starting a business too. Basically anything that's 1 year to 3 years that you're looking at doing, starting a family, weddings, all that sort of stuff. That would be your medium-term savings goal. You want to make sure that you're putting money aside for that each time that you get paid as well. Then you would have your long-term goal. So your long-term goal is going to be something like maybe it's buying a property or buying an investment property, or it's doing those really long holidays, or it might even be saving up for something like a caravan, because they're quite expensive now these days as well. Whatever it is looking at more than 3 years to save up for, that would be your long-term savings goal. So if you have those 3 savings accounts set up, so you've got your short-term goal, your medium-term goal, and then your long-term goal, and you're always constantly contributing to those accounts, you're really going to start to feel like you're in control of your money. And it doesn't even matter if it's $1 or $5 or $20, whatever it is that you are able to put aside for those goals. It's really important that you do something. And when you look at a payday distribution like that, so all the money comes into your income account, you've already gone through 12 months of your bank statements and know exactly what bills are going to come out, and you make sure you put the money straight into that bills account for all those direct debits, so you know that you've got peace of mind, all the bills are already paid, and what you're left with in that income account is the money for your grocery bills, which you're going to be sticking to your budget for, things like petrol, that's not a direct debit either, and then whatever splurge money you were after as well. So that, whatever money is left in that income account is what you have to spend for that pay cycle. And then you have your emergency savings account to empower you, and then your 3 savings accounts, short-term, medium-term, and long-term, to make sure that you know that you are putting money aside every time that you get paid towards those goals. John Maxwell said it very well when he said, a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. If you do these things and you on payday pay yourself first, you are going to feel so much more excited about your finances than if you were to just try to split money up into different accounts with different labels on it, or to just try to make it work out of one bank account and hope that it works. So it's really important that you look at something, a structured setup. But that's what I've been using for quite a lot of years now, and it works very effectively, and it's very exciting to see when those balances increase. I've got one savings account which is for my holidays, the medium term savings account for my holidays. I've got first business class to Fiji as my account label, and I love seeing that balance increase every time that I pay myself. So you can nickname your accounts, do whatever it is that you like, but simplify your banking and give it some structure. Now let's talk about the concept of paying yourself first. You've probably heard the phrase before, but I'll break down what it actually means. When most people get paid, they then pay their bills and buy their groceries and fuel up the car and maybe treat themselves to, a breakfast out or something like that with some friends. And then if there's anything left over, they choose to then save that. Whatever's left at the end of the week, I'll put that aside into my savings. But let's be honest, if it's not a priority, if you haven't prioritized savings, then there's probably nothing left at the end of the pay cycle to be able to save. So paying yourself first flips the script. You start seeing yourself as someone who reacts to money, as opposed to someone who starts to create and build wealth. So it means as soon as you get paid, when your salary hits your account, you treat your savings or your investing, or whatever it is, as a non-negotiable, just like you would for any bill. And because you are the most important bill that you have, your future, your goals, if you were to win the lottery tomorrow, this is the way that you think about it, okay? If you were to win the lottery tomorrow, you've got $100 million in your bank account, what are you doing? What are you doing with $100 million? And if you say, I'm traveling the world, then obviously travel is important to you. So why aren't you prioritizing travel when you're doing your budget? Why are you prioritizing going out to brunch? Seriously, like a piece of sourdough bread, some avocado and scrambled eggs, you're going to prioritize over your dream. You need to flip the script and start prioritizing what's really, really important to you, whatever that looks like. And it's not about the amount either. It's about the identity that it helps you build. So if you're putting aside $5 a week, $10 a week, do it. Because as soon as you start seeing that bank account increase, you are going to find ways to build your wealth. You absolutely will do it. It's a mindset change. It's a mindset shift, which is something that's a very important part of the teachings that I have. It's all about the mindset. If you believe that you can do it, and if you believe that it's important enough to you, then you will find a way to achieve it. I share a lot on my personal Instagram about the goals that I've set for myself and how I've managed to manifest them. And it's all about my mindset. I believe in myself that I can do it. So what does it look like in a practical sense? You would set up, once you put your budget together, you would set up a direct debit on your payday that sends a portion of your income straight to your savings. So you can do it straight to the emergency savings, long-term, short-term, and medium-term savings goal. And if you make it automatic, then there's no decision fatigue. You're not having to think about it on payday. It's already done. You've treated paying yourself first. You've treated your savings for your future, for your dreams and aspirations. You've treated that as a priority. So say out loud to yourself, I am someone who honors my future self. I am someone who builds wealth, and I am someone who is worthy of wealth. and then pay yourself first. Why don't you try something this week like setting up an automatic direct debit for just $25 to one of your savings accounts, and you'll be amazed at how good it feels to put yourself first. Why money feels like it's burning a hole in your pocket. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this feeling for a second, because I know sometimes when you get paid, you've got this sudden urge to just spend, and you're like, oh, finally, now I'm paid, I've got money, now what can I buy? And it really starts to feel like it's, when we talk about burning a hole in your pocket, you just want to spend. And it isn't about willpower or being bad with money, okay? This is just how some of our brains are wired. When your money hits your account, it triggers a little dopamine hit. You've worked really hard for it, and now you've got the recognition, and you've got the funds in your account as evidence of your hard work. So it feels really good when you get paid. And there's a surge of excitement and possibility of what you can buy, especially if you've ever felt restricted before. This comes back to your money story. It's why it's really important to understand your money story, get behind it, really get underneath what it is. If you've grown up around scarcity or unpredictability, your subconscious reel might just be saying, you better spend it now just in case it disappears. So what do? We spend without thinking. We chase the short-term hit because we haven't given ourselves a long-term plan. And remember what John Maxwell said, that creating a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. When money doesn't have a purpose, it will find one, and often through just impulse. You ever do those impulse purchases, the Aldi middle aisle? We all know it's there, and we all try to avoid it like the plague. And this is why structure really matters. It's why setting up your accounts with intention helps to soothe those sorts of issues. When your money is already divided, you're intentionally putting money aside to cover your savings. You're intentionally putting money aside to cover all of your bills. You've got a set amount in your spending account for your food shopping and your fuel that you're going to budget effectively, and you're going to look up apps such as the Petrol Spy to look at the cheapest fuel around, so you're getting the most bang for your buck, all those sorts of things. Then you're not operating from a space of anxiety or urgency. You're really grounded, and you're operating from a space of being really decisive. And you are deciding where your money goes. You are in complete control. And you're not telling yourself, don't spend any money. You're saying you've put the money aside you've already got that money in aside that you can spend. So you can spend it guilt-free because you've already covered everything else that's important to you in your life. The rest is already taken care of. So the money that's left over in that income account is guilt-free. So that's power, and that's peace as well. That's how you can start to really rebuild your relationship with money that feels safe and sustainable. Emotional spenders aren't weak, they're just looking for comfort, some form of comfort. And it can be driven by a trigger. So I know if I'm watching a show where the women in the show are wearing high-end fashion, I might jump onto the smartphone, the old app, and go to that, what's that shop, the Iconic. So now I have a heuristic on myself that if I put something in a shopping cart, I'm not allowed to buy it for 24 hours. And you know what? The way my brain works, I forget that it's in the shopping cart. But it saves me so much money because I haven't spent that money in an act of impulsion. I've been very intentional with it. And now I've set these heuristics on myself and behaviors so that heuristics to change my behaviors. So it's been really empowering for me, and it's been working really, really well. Because we've all been there, right? It happens to the best of us. We're all human. So it's definitely not a sign of weakness. You just need to give yourself a plan. And as soon as you give a dollar a purpose that's aligned with your values, it becomes so much more valuable. And to be honest, that's a bigger dopamine hit than any impulse buy I've ever purchased, is knowing that I am being intentional with my funds and I'm setting myself up for future financial success. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming along to another Wealth Whisperer podcast. If this episode gave you a bit of a light bulb moment, maybe take 15 minutes a day to review your bank account system and just ask yourself, does your money have a system? Do you feel safe with it? And if not, maybe now's the perfect time to set one up. As always, you can reach out to me on email at Erin.Moran at stallionfinancialgroup.com.au. I am back on socials now full time. I've been able to wean myself off that experiment for 3 months, which is fantastic. So now I only go on social medias with intent and purpose as well. So if you've got any questions, you can always reach out to me and Stallion Financial Group Instagram, and you've got my personal Instagram as well, which is Erin.Moran Money Coach. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will catch you next Wednesday on the Wealth Whisperer podcast. Bye.